Yo, what's up, y'all?
I honestly didn't know that you started recording.
I started.
Oh. I was just like, yeah.
Trying to get comfy. All right.
Okie dokie.
Introduce to our today's...
Well, first of all, before we start, if you're new here, welcome. We talk about relationships and love and keeping your shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm Whitney.
And I'm Thomas.
And we've been married for 7 years? 6 years?
6 years going on 7.
Yeah, that. So today's topic is reigniting the flame, how to stay committed when love fades. Thanks to Alicia again with another amazing idea and topic, because she's really good at that.
She's amazing at it.
Oh yeah, she's like, it's like, hey, we need an idea. She's like, I got you. Every time.
Every time.
So thank you, Alicia. We appreciate it.
Thanks, sis. Love you. Miss you guys out there in New York.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
You
I know
think?
they're getting a lot of
Maybe?
snow. They move a lot, so it's hard to keep track.
It's summer. Are they getting snow right now?
I don't know. Maybe. It's
Dude, that would
upstate New York.
suck.
It's probably cold still up there.
Yeah. Okay, we need to jump into the topic.
Yeah.
So, do you want to start us off, or do you want me to start us off?
You can start it off.
Okay, damn
She's
it.
just like, dang it.
Dang it. I'm just like, I talked my ear
All
off.
right. Okay, so
Yay!
today's topic is
I already said that.
oh yeah. You good.
Sorry, again, I don't know. If you are new here, we have ADHD, so
we do.
we're all over the place, so bear with us.
Reigniting
There should be like a
flame.
warning label that we should have. Warning, we have ADHD. May bounce from topic to topic. I need that.
Mine,
Big old sticker.
my brain might fry
My
and
brain
blank
might
out. And I'd be like, ooh, squirrel.
And I might lose my train of thought. There
So,
is no tracks for that train.
I know that before we even came on the show, we were actually discussing this. I guess the best way to go into this topic is honestly to talk about our experiences that we faced with, reigniting that flame. And I know that you mentioned when we had some issues back in our, back in the States,
That was just Oklahoma. That was like our first duty station.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, little bit of a backstory. When we fell in love like super, super quickly, very, very quickly. And we were ready to get married right off the bat. We were just like, yeah. And after 5 months of knowing each other, you proposed? Was it 5 months? Because we met in July. You proposed in November. And then we got married the year after in December. Yeah. So we kind of rushed it a little bit.
We rushed the heck out of it.
But because we rushed it so quickly and we moved in together really quickly, I ended up getting pregnant 8 months after you proposed? Around that time?
You were roughly about 6 months pregnant around August when I shipped out.
Yeah.
Before we got married.
Yeah.
So
I can't math.
I would say August. What's 6 months prior to
It
August?
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So
it's
basically,
February.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So basically, I got pregnant after a few months after we wanted to, tie the knot, get married and everything. He proposed. I said yes.
6-7 months after.
Yeah. So I got pregnant because we lived together and we were not safe. And basically shit hit the fan.
Okay,
and
we
hold on. Shit got real. And I guess that's when you decided to join the army. You're just like, I gotta get my shit together.
Well, you were on the pill.
The pill doesn't work.
We learned
For
that
me.
one.
We learned the hard way. Yeah. So you decided to join the army.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was full blown pregnant. And you went into basic training and everything. And I basically went through almost my entire pregnancy alone. So her growing inside me, my very first child, I went through it all alone. I at least had my mom and my best friend. So I wasn't completely alone. But without you, it felt lonely, And that entire time you were in basic and then you went over to AIT. And then, no. I saw you before you went to AIT. And I was 9 months pregnant because you graduated basic. And then you went straight to AIT. Yeah.
For like 2
It
days.
was like 2 days. It was Thanksgiving. So
we had Thanksgiving in the hotel room.
Mm-hmm. So 2 months later, I had my daughter, Iris, and and I had her by myself with just my mom there.
And then I saw you again for 2 days.
And then you saw me again.
I took leave.
You were able to see.
I took leave for a week.
Yeah,
No, 2
you were able to
weeks.
see her after she was born, though.
I took leave for 2 weeks though to get married to you.
Yeah.
For holiday block leave.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
We
So
used that block leave to get married.
I did the math.
But that was like a month before Iris was born. Not even.
I saw you for 18 days. And
I was full blown pregnant when I got married.
In 1 year.
I was big old 9 months pregnant in the courthouse getting hitched.
Almost one whole year.
No, not really.
Almost one whole year. I didn't see you for only 18 days.
Yeah. Yeah. So with all that going on, I was still very much in love with you, but I think that was mostly because I had a part of you growing inside me. Like, Iris was a part of you, and having that experience, like, I had that love for you still because I had a part of you. I don't know if that makes sense, but like, I feel like that's why I never kind of fell out of love with you during that separation, because I kind of felt connected to you through that. But I know for you, it was a lot different of an experience. So do you want to touch on that?
Yeah. So,
no,
I don't want to try the new Bing.
I don't like Bing. Bing. Sorry.
So, squirrel.
Squirrel.
So I guess this is the best way for me to explain my part and my point of view from the whole situation. We were not doing so very good when I left.
That is true.
We had not
a giant fight before you left. And I was honestly, I did you dirty. I'm sorry. I'll touch on this because he's about to be the bad guy in this scenario, so I need to make myself the bad guy first, so you feel a little bit better. Right before he left for the army, he was doing Uber, but I thought you did admit earlier that you were job hopping. You were a job hopper.
Yeah, I was.
You would literally go from one job to another. So I'm freaking out. My mom is down my in my ear being like, he's going from job to job. He's not going to be able to provide. He's scaring the crap out of me. So I'm just like, crap, did I mess up? Like, I'm going to have a baby with this. Forgive me. I love you.
This bum.
I'm about to have a baby with a bum, and I'm going to have a baby daddy, and I'm screwed. So I started freaking out, and that's when we were fighting a lot. And I just decided, I was like, hey, I'm going to go back with my parents, live with my parents for a little bit. And you were still in the apartment building. And then my mom and my dad kind of talked me into like just going there, getting my stuff and leaving. But when I got there, guess who showed up for lunch? Thomas saw me in the middle of packing my things.
I think that
we had a heart-to-heart,
scenario was pretty rough because
it was. But I think that's when reality hit you. And you're just like, shoot.
Reality did hit me, but what also hit me was the communication in our relationship.
Oh, there was none.
Was like out the window.
It was none. There
honestly,
was no communication.
I just felt like the whole relationship was already out the window and it was gone.
Yeah.
I was just trying to find a way to salvage it.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, my glasses are dirty.
Back to my sister giving us, this topic.
In my defense, though, you had I don't know what it was. And I know we were all young, so I'm not going to say that it's everyone's fault that we were fighting, because it wasn't, because we had our own problems. But, I feel like some people kind of dip their toes in to start a little drama between us. And I'm just like, what the hell, you guys?
Yeah, I mean.
I'm not name dropping, though. You know who you are.
I would just say, I love you. I would just say that my sister gave me the best advice.
Oh, my glasses.
Before I left, because,
she always gives the best advice.
You were pregnant. And she's looking out for me because she's just like,
she's your sister. She's your twin sister.
Like sister.
They have a connection that I will never understand.
So she was just saying, hey,
do you think I can use Windex on glasses?
Maybe. Go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Keep talking.
So, as I was saying,
before I so rudely interrupted you.
It's like all night you've been rudely interrupting me. I'm just trying to talk.
Sorry. Okay,
It's okay. It's okay. So what I'm trying to say is that my sister gave me the best advice, and she was saying, hey, I look after you because you're my brother. I love you and I respect you and I respect your choices and all, but just see it this way. You getting shipped off is bringing that separation between you two that's going to make you or break you, because we spent like almost a whole year we didn't spend a whole year together. We spent almost a whole year together nonstop.
Yes.
Not one single day apart.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you would go to school, I would go to work, and then you would go to work, and I would come home. It was that type of relationship. We didn't really, go our separate ways and do stuff with friends or whatever for like multiple occasions. It was just us all the time, and we didn't have much. So obviously, in most relationships, finances can it can definitely hinder your relationship. It can put a crutch on it. It can definitely hurt you. And that's where you got to get yourself together financially before you go and do, things that we did, because they hurt our relationship. Yeah. And realistically, we didn't really have much. Let's just be real.
We were so broke that our Christmas tree, our very first Christmas tree,
looked broke.
Like half of the lights right in the middle just went out. Yeah. So yeah,
it was pretty bad.
It looked bad.
Our couch got
repossessed. Our couch got repossessed. That's how broke we were.
I mean, it was just like, pay the bills or pay the couch. I was just like, okay,
fuck the couch.
My stupid self went out first. This was the first mistake, going out and renting furniture.
Yeah, renting furniture. Don't rent furniture. Don't do it.
Just buy the dang furniture. Buy used furniture. I don't know. If you can't afford it, just
go to a thrift store. Like, they have good. I know that it's in your head. You're just like, oh, that's disgusting by getting something that somebody else sat on. We had a couch for 10 years that a previous family owned, and we loved that couch.
We didn't have it for 10 years.
They had it for 10. My mind.
They had it for quite a bit.
We had it for basically 5 years.
Almost the full time in Fort Sill.
Yeah.
3.
I would say like 4 years.
We had it for we had it for almost 6 years.
Yeah.
But I would say, let's just be realistic and say we had it for 5 years.
Yeah.
But
and that was pre-owned.
But I would say that I was going through a lot of mixed emotions when I was going through basic, because it was like the amount of effort I was trying to put into like saving our relationship. It was like,
I was throwing in the towel.
Yeah, it was like I was getting love letters from you and all these good positive things.
Okay, so I was throwing in the towel at first, but then I kind of fell back in love with you after you so for me, what kind of made me stay is that when we had that situation where I came in and I went to go pack my stuff, and seeing how heartbroken you were about me doing that, I was just like, this dude actually cares. So it wasn't more like, oh, fuck you, you know what, just get out. Like, you actually broke down, and I'm like, wow, he cares. Like, he actually cares if I leave. So that's when it kind of hit me like, what am I doing? Like, I'm sitting here listening to my parents. Like, this guy actually cares about me. And I'm hurting him really, really badly right now. So that's when I kind of self-reflected, all right. And that's when I worked it out with you. I'm just like, we're still together. Because that whole situation, I was just like, oh, he actually likes me.
Well, I guess it was just more of right before I left, the amount of effort I was trying to put in to salvage the relationship. It just seemed like it didn't matter what I did. Mm-hmm. It was like I was still that kick to the curb. You're my second choice.
Do you feel that way about how I felt about you, or about how my parents felt about you?
How both.
Oh.
And to me, because
I know that most of it was because of my parents.
Past, it honestly felt like you were just waiting for someone else to replace me.
No.
And well, that's how I felt. And
I know.
plus-
I'm just
plus,
telling you, and reassuring you. I never felt that
We're
way.
now going our separate ways because now
Yeah.
I'm going to Oklahoma, and
So, question.
mm-hmm.
Like you said, I was writing you love letters the entire time that you were
like
gone.
I was kind of confused by it. Like I needed it because I was
Uh-huh.
going through such a
But at the same time,
mental and
you
physical
didn't believe
battle. It was like I believed it, but I was like, I don't. It was like, is this just because I'm gone now? Is it like, am I actually?
it. I see your point.
I guess you could say it was more of like, I've been bullshitted so much by women that like, and then plus my mental state and my physical state and my past experiences, tying all those together, I'm just assuming that I'm temporary. Like you can say the world to me, but does it really matter?
I see your point.
I don't see your emotions when you write. It's just like typing a text. You know, you don't see that emotion behind the words. So, a lot of mixed feelings, especially when I'm being broken down to be transformed into a soldier. You know, I'm literally getting rid of my past to start a new future.
When you go through basic training, they break you.
They used to. I mean, like, it's not bad. It's not like that. Like, it's
not as bad as it was.
Shit. It's pretty shitty. Like, you do some dumb shit. Like, you go through a lot. You get yelled at a lot. You lose a lot of weight.
Oh yeah, when he came back, I thought he was anorexic. Like he was stick thin, and I was kind of scared.
It's just like it's a mental toll because like people will say all the time, "Oh yeah, it's easy." It is easy. It's just it's sucky. Like it's pretty suck. And some people enjoy it. Like there's a lot of people out there that like I would do basic all over again.
Those people are the hua-huas.
Like you could do it. Like, that's fine. Like I did it. You know, like it is what it is. But like when you're not used to like only getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep, when you're not used to consistently moving, when you're not consistently used to like a set schedule, like you go somewhere and now you're standing out there for like 6 hours, like waiting to do an activity, and you're like in the heat, in the sun, and you're always getting yelled at, and you're always like doing some form of physical activity. Like some people are not used to that, and that can be like a mental challenge and a physical challenge. So, like that's a whole totally different topic.
Yeah.
Basic training is not hard, but it's pretty shit. Like it's pretty shitty. Like I don't know who I've met people who enjoy it, but like, I'm just like, bro, how do you enjoy that shit? Like that shit was kind of boring as fuck, but like annoying and awful and shitty all tied into one.
Yeah.
And you go back to your room and then the entire bay is just completely fucked. Your shoelaces are tied in with 50 other people's shoelaces, and you gotta like unfuck that, and then all on top of that your shit is dumped everywhere, so your socks may not be your socks and your underwear may not be your underwear. So that's where I'm going with, like, and then on top of that you're already tired. Name on my underwear. You don't get enough sleep, and
is that why your name is written on everything?
Your name isn't written on everything,
like your PTs like, and stuff.
It can be written on everything, like
but did you write your name on your underwear?
But like you get a number, like you're a number.
Yeah,
my number was 021.
Okay.
And I still remember it to this day. But yeah, you'd put your number and then your last name.
21.
But there was 3 people with the same last name.
A lot of Davises.
So like kind of like realistically, you're just going based off of, all right, I could put your Davis number. T.
Yeah.
But I mean realistically, it's like, oh, 021 Davis, that's me.
Yeah.
You can't fuck that up. Because right, Davis, whoever is someone else. Anyways,
yeah,
long
back
story
on
short.
Topic.
Yeah, we're going way off topic.
Way off topic.
So I'm going through like this mental like state of change, like becoming a soldier, going through all this stuff and dealing with personal stuff. Like dealing with things back at home was like the last of I honestly was so angry at myself for the choices I've made, but also so angry at you, angry at like, job hopping, so angry at where my life kind of ended up. Yeah. I just wanted it to be over with. Like I wanted it to be in the past and I leave it there and I start a new future. So, you know, just getting criticized by like your parents and like how they thought of me, just me knowing that made me want to not remember. Made me just want to say fuck it and start over.
Yeah.
But like I did still have feelings for you because I obviously was in love with you. You're bearing my child. Like, what normal person won't feel those, you know, those emotions. So when I got to my unit, so when we got to AIT, when I got to AIT training and I got to go on Christmas holiday block leave, me getting married to you was just like me coping with being back home and trying to figure out. It was like I still had the feelings towards you, but it was like, is this the right choice? Like, am I doing the right thing? And I'm like, out of all honesty, it was like, this is what I want. This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted, but this is not what I want.
Okay.
It's what I wanted, but it wasn't what I
We
want.
didn't have the fairy tale wedding.
What?
We didn't have the fairy tale wedding.
We
It was
didn't,
more like
yeah.
I'm pregnant as hell, marry me before we have our kid because we're trying to do this the right way.
I honestly believe that I married you just because it's what I wanted at that time.
Yeah.
Before I joined the Army. And when I got through, you know, AIT and I got the emergency leave to go see, you know, our daughter for the first time, obviously it was like, what, week after? I think it was like 2 weeks after she was born. I got to finally meet my daughter, you know, and
How was that feeling though, by the way? Like, did you feel some kind of connection or were you kind of distant?
it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was like foreign, obviously.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
like,
you've
you
never
know,
had a kid
Yeah,
before.
you never had a kid before. But at the same time, you know, it wasn't the same as being in the operating room when you had
Seeing
Ezra.
it happen. Oh yeah, that changed you
That
a little
changed
bit.
me.
You're just like, he's my boy.
That affected me harder than
yeah.
me just seeing Iris already born and you're holding her.
Yeah, when you see whenever you see like your loved one bear your child, it's like a emotional experience. Like I got emotional when my mom had my sister because it was just so I know that it's really weird.
It's hard to explain.
It's hard to explain because I know the whole process is really weird, but at the
Excuse
same
me.
time when you're witnessing a life being brought into the world, you tear up. It's
Yeah.
beautiful in a very weird way.
So, getting to the point of me getting to my first unit, you still were in college.
I was. So I wanted
And it was like you didn't want to be there.
No, okay. In my defense,
You're good. You're good.
Let me.
I'm just expressing to you how I felt.
No. I acknowledge how you feel. I really do, because I kind of feel that way now. But I love you, Mom. But you were wrong. College isn't everything, and I honestly regret going to college. I regret it. It was not worth my time, nor my money, nor my freaking stress. It wasn't worth it. And I really
Maybe at
wish
the
I
time.
didn't. Yeah, at the time.
Maybe at the time.
So, like, my entire
College is good.
upbringing,
It's okay.
it was not beat into me, but, like, heavily, like, said to me constantly, like, hey, you need to get a good degree. You need to go to college. I don't care what life throws at you. You better get that degree. You better get that degree because you're going to get that good job and then you're going to have a good life. And I thought that this is what I need to do. So if I don't do this, then I'm a failure. So, like, that was the only thing that in my head. So I knew that I fell in love with you. I was having a baby. Like, I had a baby when I was in college. But all the things that I could think about is like, I need to do this because if I don't, I'm going to be a failure. And that's the only thing that went through my head. So even though I wanted so badly, the moment you were in Oklahoma, I wanted so badly to just leave and go be with you. But at the same time, I'm just like, if I do that and it doesn't work out, like, I'm fucked. Like, I just literally left the only thing that would have, helped me out, like having an actual degree to get a job. Like, that's the only thing that would help me out if things didn't work out with you. So that was like, It was almost like a backup plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to have backup plans.
I did at the time, I did have like an aspiration to do what I wanted to do. But then, after being a mom and everything, it kind of faded. I'm like, yeah.
Reality hits when you are fresh out of high school and then you go to college and then you get your college degree and you didn't work. Like, you didn't work. And now you realize that you
like
have a
few
college degree
jobs.
with no work experience. Guess what you're doing? You're doing an internship.
Yep.
You're not getting paid.
Yep.
Or you're going to get the same job that Billy Bob Joe Smo on the side of the road who worked 3-4 years.
People that get
with
those
the job
nice jobs,
experience, they get
daddy's money.
I mean, like college is not bad. Like it's
and
not a
hard
bad
work.
thing.
Don't get me wrong. Hard work gets there.
College is not a bad thing. It's
It's
good
not.
for some. It's good. I would say, what's that thing called? Not a degree, but like a certification, like
A trade skill.
A trade skill, yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
I wish I would have
welder,
done that instead.
a mechanic, a police officer,
A plumber.
a plumber.
Plumbers get paid bank. Bank. Date a
shoot,
fucking plumber, ladies.
CDLs, hazardous material transportation, CDL.
Even the
There's
army. The army
an
has
electrician.
The one thing that I would recommend to people that are just like they're worried about like right after they get out of high school. I know that this sounds awful, but honestly, I would even give the same advice to my children. Join the army because it gets your life on track. It teaches you finances. You can have free college and it teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to live on your own.
It's your foundation.
Yeah, it literally builds your foundation for your future. So if you like, and all you have to do is give what 3 years. 3 years. So instead of going straight to college, you could do 3 years, do your college in the army, but have that foundation, and basically you can get your life situated before you actually go out into the real world and do the things you need to do.
Realistically, they actually do have to technically give 8 years.
Well, I don't.
But that's the like the.
I'm a dependa. I don't know.
That's like, it's like if you did like 3 years and you get out, you still owe the army 5, but it's like those 5 can be like the inactive, like where they can call you back if they wanted to, which those odds are very slim. But I guess back to the topic. So when I got to my first unit, the way I felt was, yes, you were working on your degree, and yes, Iris was born, but I've spent several months there
by yourself,
by myself,
and he hung out with a lot of single soldiers who were living that single life.
Yeah, and it was just being away from you for that long, and then plus on top of that to add in the
we didn't live a married life. We had barely a honeymoon. Like our honeymoon was maybe like a weekend. Myrtle. We went to Dirty Myrtle for a honeymoon. So we didn't have that newlywed thing where we spend lots of time together right after we got married. Like basically we got married, we had like a little tiny honeymoon, and then it's just like, all right, bye. I'm leaving. And then months later I finished college, and then I finally come back to see you. So like I can see where that kind of distance our relationship with each other. It was like 4 months. Yeah, 4 months after getting married. We finally got to see each other for the first time. Oh, that's kind of sad now that I think about it. So close to, half a year. Again, all that time apart. It was like, am I really married? Like, is this what I really wanted? She hated me at one point, and then now her family hated me. And now we kind of just got eloped. We didn't really plan anything. We got married in a courthouse. It was just like everything was kind of like slapped and glued, stick together. Yeah. And it was just like, is this really what I want? And that's how I felt. And then plus being around a lot of single guys. Yes, the people you hang out with are very, very big. They influence you greatly. They're big influences in your life. And that's why a lot of rich people, or I'm not going to say rich people, I'm going to say a lot of positively, decently off, wealthy-ish people who are people who have hurting. Ambitions normally hang around other people who have ambitions. Yes. They're not going to hang out with someone. Not necessarily wealthy, but ambitious. Yeah. People who are ambitious are not going to realistically hang out with someone who's not ambitious, who's kind of like a deadbeat, who's not doing anything good with their life. Someone who's selling drugs, someone who just can't get their shit together. They're not going to want to hang out with you, because when they hang out with people like that, they're going to start to slack and be like that. Yeah. The people you hang out with are the people you're going to be like. That's why Hollywood is so bad, because once you become a movie star, everyone's just like, oh, why are all these Hollywood actors and actresses, so getting into drugs and alcohol and all that other. who do you think they hang out with?
They're always
other
around
actors
it.
and actresses. And guess what? That's all they do. Like, that's all they got. And also, you have to think that's a depressing life. Yeah. But we're not going to go into that. But, yeah. Who you hang out with is who you become.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of advice. Because, yeah, for girls and guys, you hang out with a bunch of gossiping bitches. Guess what? You turn into a gossiping bitch. And the people that you hang around are also being a gossiping bitch towards you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the story.
Yes.
Whitney finally came and moved in. And it was like we had to start working on that process of
rekindling.
Reigniting
the flame.
The flame in our relationship. And now that she wasn't influenced by her
my
family,
mother, yeah.
I
love you, Mom.
I'm
not trying to diss you.
I wasn't really heavily influenced by my family, even though I was influenced by
your family was always supportive
friends.
of your parents. I love them to death. They've always supported you no matter what you did. It didn't matter if you were failing at life or succeeding at life. They're just like, we support you.
Yeah.
And like, there was never that doubt of like, you know, we're disappointed. Like, it was more like, it's okay, you'll come back.
Yeah. My parents
and that's
were
what
pretty awesome.
Aspire to be as a parent. Yeah.
So, you know, and I mean, like, it wasn't easy, you know, like it took us years, you know, of trying to sort things out, figure each other out. I believe that, you know, going to church and getting on a,
well, we're kind of skipping over something real quick.
Go ahead.
So when I got there.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't like this part because it was one of our rock bottoms of our relationship. So it is a little touchy of a subject, but I love you very, very much. You're my whole world.
Yeah, you're mine.
But this motherfucker, after I buried his child, told me he was no longer in love with me after I traveled all the way to Oklahoma from North Carolina, which is a, 19-hour drive?
It's like a 20-hour.
It's a 20-hour drive. So it's a 20-hour drive. I did it with a newborn baby by myself, drove all the way to see this man, and not even 2-3 days of being there, I was told that I wasn't loved anymore. And I'm like, real shit. Like, fuck.
What the fuck did I get myself
into? Why the fuck did why, if you didn't love me, why did I drive all the way here? Why? I have your kid. What's going to happen now? But
we went to church.
That was later, though. It was a little later. It was a little later. It was a little rough at first, but all I knew is that I was determined. I know that this sounds kind of sad, especially from a female's point of view, but I don't care because it worked. I was determined to make you love me again. And I was sad. Just like, well, some women are just like, oh, you're weak, which, you know,
dudes will say that to do.
That's
true.
People
will say that to anyone. Doesn't matter if you're a male or a female.
You're right.
Weak. You just had you truly genuinely loved me.
I did. And I didn't want it to crash and burn because also I'm a product of hold on.
Sorry.
I'm a product of a failed marriage because my parents got divorced when I was 7 years old. And I remember how badly that fucked me up. That whole situation of the divorce was so bad. And I didn't want to put my only daughter that I had at the time, I didn't want to put my kid through that. So I was just like, you know what? I'm determined to make this dude love me again.
But this is where
I did it.
This is where it's interesting. You're a product of a failed marriage.
I don't know what can go wrong.
Of a
successful marriage.
But the rules were different. You were determined to save it, and I was determined to lose it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because you've never seen the consequences of a failed marriage. You've only had stability.
Yeah.
And me, I saw it all. There was so much crap in my childhood that I don't think should have happened. But I'm not going to go into details or anything, but I had situations where I was technically kidnapped by my dad's girlfriend, where we're going to court because I took pictures of my stepmother's house, and I regret that deeply. If my stepmother ever watches this, which I don't think she will, but if she does, I love you, and I'm sorry for treating you like crap. I really am.
We were young and dumb.
Huh?
So we were all young and dumb.
I know, but still, like, I did her dirty. I did her very dirty, and I regret the decisions I made in my childhood. But I was a mama's girl, and I had to please my mom, so, like, I messed up. But anyways, like, I had cops at my house at one point, and anything that could go bad went bad, like horribly bad. And I saw the worst of what can happen when a divorce happens.
Yeah.
And because of that, I was just like, I don't ever want to put my kids through. I wasn't even thinking about, I was not being like selfish at all in that aspect. I was thinking about my kids. I was like, I don't want to put my child through that. And all I had was Iris at the time. I didn't want to put her through it because I'm just like, you deserve a dad. I didn't get my dad growing up. I lost him. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm getting to don't get emotional, Whitney. I'm happy that now I'm getting to reconnect with him in a way that I didn't before, but it's still kind of like that distance between us to where, like, he doesn't call me all the time, but I know he's a busy man. So, like, yeah. But every time you see my face light up, every time my dad calls, because I'm just so excited to talk to him because I didn't really have him growing up and it sucked. And I didn't want that for Iris because the one thing that I wanted Iris to have was a dad. And I didn't want it to be, like, I love my stepdad. Love you very, very much, Dad. But I didn't want to do the whole stepdad situation. I didn't. Because, like, I remember when my parents got divorced, I remember as a child, only 7 years old, thinking how much I wanted them to be back together so badly. I'm just like, why can't you guys just work it out? Why can't you guys just be back together? I had no idea what was going on. I don't know why they got divorced. I don't know what happened because I was a kid. But I just remember as a child what I thought. Like, can't you just, stay together? So during that time when you told me you didn't love me anymore, I'm like, well, bitch, I'm in it for the long run and we ain't getting divorced. And if you're going to throw divorce papers my ways, fuck you. I ain't signing it. You stuck with me. So I wanted to make it work so badly for our child. Because Iris, like, I didn't want her to go through what I went through. So that's why I was determined to make this work because I just, I love her and I care about her. Yeah. And she was my first kid. So that love was like 103,000. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. A little emotional there.
No. I mean, like, you're sharing kind of some of the story. Yeah. So, I mean, and we worked on it, like I 100% fell more madly in love with you.
It took a while,
It did take some time.
This wasn't like a few weeks later he fell back madly in love with me. This was years later.
But I mean, it doesn't matter who you're with or how long. Yeah. Like my parents, they've been together for 34 years, and they tell me multiple times that they have fallen out of love with each other. I mean, it happens. But this
happens to everybody.
But like,
you don't stay madly in love with someone throughout your entire marriage. You will fall out of love. It is literally a roller coaster of emotions. But it's the commitment that you need to do. But now I kind of want to go into the word. Okay. I kind of want to go into the word of just love. Because, a lot of people get this misinterpretation or this word that they think love is like this whole happiness, like that ooey gooey, that spark butterflies in my tummy, that feeling that you get when you're like in a brand new relationship. That's not love. No, that's not love. That's called puppy love. It's literally, it has a name for it. It's called puppy love. Yeah, so that's not love. When you get into a brand new relationship and you're like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. Oh my God. That's puppy love. That ain't real love. I'm sorry. Love is not really, love is like more action based. Oh yeah. Than action, it is 100%. For like, what's the best way I can,
love is more of a sacrifice.
Oh yeah.
Because you are willing to do the things that you normally won't do. So for example, the best way I can put love is in your situation where you were just like, I'm going to make this work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get this man to love me. You're stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something that you normally wouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Willing to do things that you don't want to do, but like you're doing it because you truly genuinely love me.
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't want to go to work. But I do it because I love you guys and I want to provide for you guys, you and
That's
the kids.
a sacrifice. Like love is sacrifices on top of sacrifices.
If, the bills, if I get like a random bill, something comes up, takes out most of my paycheck. My love is feeding my family before I feed myself.
Yeah.
My love is providing for my children, like giving them clothes and shoes and toys before I get myself anything.
Yeah.
It's like I go out of my way to make sure that you're taken care of, make sure the kids are happy, you're happy before I make myself happy.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do you want to go get, do I really want to, like the kids really want a trampoline.
They
really do. Do I want
to? They really want one right now.
Do I want to spend, like $150, $200 on a trampoline?
It's about like $200 or $300.
When I could spend $150, $200 on like something that I want, maybe like, some decorations for the game room, or maybe a part for my computer, or maybe some shoes, or maybe, something that I want, because that's my money and I work hard for it.
Yeah.
No, the kids are going to get that trampoline.
They're going to get that trampoline.
Because I genuinely love my children enough to do that for them, because I know that's what's going to make them happy. And granted, some people are like, well, you're spoiling your kids. No, I love my kids. I love my kids. I love my kids so much that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make them happy and get what I couldn't get when I was a child.
Yeah. I feel like there's a big difference between spoiling your child and then giving your child, like, just doing things for them to make them happy. Spoiling your child is when you keep giving and giving and giving and giving and never saying no and being like, oh, you want candy? Of course. Oh, you want this? Of course. And like never telling, they don't know the word no. Yeah. That is spoiling. That's spoiling. When they don't know what the word no means, that is spoiling.
Yeah.
But our kids know what no means very greatly because they hear it almost every single day. But we want to make them happy. So kind
of going back to how it took years for us to fall back in love.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we mean by love.
Slowly doing sacrifices for each other.
We're not talking. I mean, it's more than.
Oh, it is
a little bit more than that. But it's just like, it's reigniting the flame in our marriage. So doing things we wouldn't normally do for each other.
Talking things out,
forgiving each other.
Oh, forgiving is
when, like,
forgiveness.
If you're going through some conflicts in your relationship,
mm-hmm.
it's because you're potentially, there's a misconnect. There is miscommunication. Maybe it's because you're either hurt or they're hurt.
Mm-hmm. Or you're both hurt.
Because
we both were.
So now you're not communicating that feeling or that pain or that emotions with your partner. You're not communicating it so that way you can like kind of work it out. So like that's why it takes years to kind of like rebuild that, kind of like for us to rebuild that marriage, because, or our marriage, is because there's so many pieces that love ties into, forgiving each other. So like maybe there was something that you did to me in our past, and there was, and I didn't voice that to you so that way we can work it out. I didn't voice it to you because I was kind of angry about it.
Yeah.
And that's where there was that disconnect. And that's where you probably were angry at me for something that I did to you.
And I wouldn't tell you. I would want you to figure it out.
So like we're still trying to like we're going day to day, like slowly working it out. It's slowly communicating these things. It's slowly doing things together. It's slowly, going out of our way for each other. It's slowly just, if you're busy working all the time, you're not going to communicate those issues. You're going to go home and then you're kind of like, whatever, hey, things are kind of awkward because you kind of just went through something and you may not want to talk about it. You're tired from work and you just go to bed. Guess what? There's a day out the window. You didn't work on it. So like, that's why it takes time to rebuild that. So like, for example, I don't want to blast their information, but someone I know was going through some stuff where,
just don't say names.
That's why I'm not blasting their names. So someone was going through some stuff where, one person was talking to someone else and they did it behind their partner's back because they weren't communicating their love or their affection. They weren't on the same page when it came to communication, the love languages. Yeah. Which I do want to talk about love languages probably soon.
Do you want to do it next?
Probably next. I would love to do. All right,
next we're going to do love languages because I know that's a big one.
So some people's love language is, like, was it gifts?
There's acts of service.
Yeah, acts of service, which would probably be like gifting or doing things for each other.
No, not just that. Acts of service. So for me, it's mostly acts of service. So
that's like doing.
I
gotta rebrush up before we do it.
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to say that for another time because we need to rebrush up on the love languages. But the one that I remember is the one that's mine is acts of service. When you do things for me, like random things, like it could be as small as remembering to get milk and alcohol before you doing that. Like I was just like, taking the trash out, just doing little stuff to where you're taking care of me and you're doing stuff for me without me having to be like, hey, I told you to do that. I told you to do that. Can you please just do that? I don't have to do that with you. Yeah. Because I tell you once and you're like, all right, I got you. And you go and do it. Other ones,
so it's like acts of service. It's
I can't remember.
One's like a they communicate.
I know one is a gift giving.
There's a gift giving. There's acts of service. There's one that's like affection. Like they're like the touching type. Like they need to be.
Oh, they need to feel the love.
Confirmation.
Confirmation.
It's like something like around confirmation. Like they need words of affirmation.
Hey, see, look at that brain going.
I know the love languages.
I just gotta brush
up on it. I do. I really do need to brush up on it.
But, we will. We'll do that next episode. So we're not going to get too much into it.
We're not going to get too much into it. So they didn't know their love languages. They may, but they, you forget. Like, come on. Like, you're not going to always think about what are my love languages. No.
Or what can I do?
Yeah, so that's some people, on your part to like learn.
I will say this. It's okay because it happens to everybody. Sometimes you get so caught up in what's going to your like what's happening to yourself. Yeah. Like when work is getting stressful for you and like going crazy or you got a lot on your mind, because I know you now, before it was just like I can't believe him. But like now it's just like I know you got a lot going on in your life, so you don't have really that much time to like focus on me. So I kind of give you that space that you need. But before I was just like I can't believe, he didn't, want to watch this show with me, or he didn't want to do this with me, or like we didn't want to spend any time together. Like, because you were going through a lot during that time, or work was getting crazy. Yeah. And sometimes we get wrapped up on ourselves to where we're not thinking about our partner at the moment because we got too much of our own stuff going on in our heads. And it's not that we forget them, but it's more like they're kind of pushed into the background to where we're just like so focused on everything that's going on. Like when my college, for instance, I loved you and I wanted to be with you, but I'm just like, I gotta do this. I gotta focus on this. I need to pass this.
I'm really proud of you for doing that. Don't take it for granted. You knocked it out, okay? Yeah. And so kind of going back a little bit and back into the story. So I knew a couple. One was married and they were seeing someone else. Mm-hmm. And
when you say seeing, like sexually or just talking, because I know there's two different.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
You're right. You're right.
We're not gonna get into it.
Okay.
So there was a married couple, and the partner was seeing someone else. All
Yeah.
right. Now, this person that was seeing someone else, I don't know the whole ordeal behind it, but they didn't communicate. They didn't communicate very well. Obviously, one was married, and they were still trying to figure out, like, the whole ordeal because they were far away. They were like far, far away.
Yeah.
And don't get too caught up on who it is. We're just look at the story.
How can you read my mind?
Because I know you, but I'm looking at you. So
I'm just like, who is he talking about?
So there's these two couple, and they're seeing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to still figure out what she wants to do, like, because they're both seeing other people, and she's trying to, like, start a new relationship.
I'm doing it again. So
the idea behind it was they were running into issues because they didn't know each other's love languages. And he, obviously, the partner I was talking to, I was trying to give them good advice, saying, hey, maybe this is not a good idea just to begin with. There's too many red flags. Yes, we're going to talk about red flags eventually. Yes,
brought that up
we
today.
are. Okay, so they didn't know their love languages.
Mm-hmm.
One was the acts of gifting.
They like gifts.
But the other one is like communication, I guess. I don't know the word for it. They like to communicate.
Yeah.
But they can't show their emotions. They're really bad at showing their emotions. They're not a very, like, expressive, like, they can't express themselves as great. So maybe maybe his love language or her love language wasn't communication. Maybe it was like they know how to communicate and they want to talk about things, but he can't express his emotions. Like if partner A gave partner B a gift, they want to see the reaction because that's what they love. They love giving gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And that person is just like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And opens it up, is like, oh, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. But they don't express.
But they need the reassurance of, like,
that emotion of, like, oh, thank you. Like, that means so much to me.
So awesome.
Like,
I can't believe
so
you remember that.
I don't know exactly what their love language was. But anyways,
Yeah.
long story short, let's just try to make this quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get on this subject too much. But they ran into that issue where they couldn't be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
One was trying to study ways to be on that same page of the other person, but was realizing these are my shortfalls. These are my shortcomings. These are my shortfalls. This is why she feels this type of way for me, and this is why she's being this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to tell her this is why, but she doesn't want to listen to me. She doesn't want to understand that this is just how I am. I'm not like.
There's
I can't
people
flip
out
the
there
switch in my brain.
Yeah, there's people out there who are not emotional people. Like,
me.
I've known, my father's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's not an emotional guy. He
really
can talk about some really dark stuff and he can sometimes say it with a smile, and it's like, yo,
damn,
dude,
fucked.
like, that's fucked. But that's just how some people are. Some people can't express emotions like me and you were both emotional people. So some like I remember going back to my mom, when she saw that in you, she saw it as a weakness because she's just like, he's so emotional. But and she wasn't used to that kind of thing because she's used to the whole, like, I don't show emotion guy. And she wasn't used to it.
Yeah. So this couple, even though they were both in this weird predicament, I guess they were trying to make it work. And this is what I'm trying to get at, is just because you study the love languages and just because you get to figure each other out, it doesn't mean you're going to work things out. It is good to communicate, and it is good to be on the same page. It's good to know that, hey, my partner loves words of affirmation. They love to be told over and over and over again, like, I do love you, and I do care for you, and you are beautiful. And you have to, I tell my wife every day, since we've been together.
But that's mostly because I was very self-conscious.
But again, it doesn't matter. I will do it.
Yeah, I was a
until the
very
day I die.
insecure person when I first met my husband. So he saw that, and every single day, you are so beautiful. I love you so much. You're so beautiful.
I will do it until the day I die because I want to always remind you how much, like,
and
how
I
precious
feel
you
loved.
are. So anyways, back to the story. I'm trying to stay focused.
I'm
ADHD.
sorry.
ADHD. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that sometimes getting to know each other's words of affirmation or their love languages, sometimes getting to know their love languages, you kind of need to, because it allows you to communicate together. It doesn't mean it's always going to work, because maybe partner A is not going to be always on the same page as partner B. Maybe they just won't always understand, like, if someone's depressed, some person has maybe never been through depression, and they're trying to get the person that they're with to be not depressed, and they're just like, hey, stop being depressed, and they're just like, I can't. Like, that's like telling someone, hey, stop wearing glasses, you can't see. Well, if I take these off, I really can't see. And they're just like, they never wore glasses before, so they don't know what it's like to have to wear glasses. Yeah. So they've never been depressed, so they don't know what that person's going through. So, like, sometimes you may not know what the other person's going through, and that's why you got to learn about it and study it. Just like, Whitney, you really didn't know that I had an ADHD problem. And for the first few years, you were always like what's going on?
I used to get very angry with you.
At me for it.
Because, so for females with ADHD versus men with ADHD, it's really, really different. Like, the way that my ADHD works is, I didn't even know I had it until, like, literally, like a year ago.
We're getting off topic with ADHD.
Hold on. Let me explain this just a little bit, because it does tie into what you were saying.
Yeah.
When I was learning about you, I honestly 100% thought you were like, I could care less what you're saying, and I'm just gonna, like, oh, here's my phone. Like, I would be telling him a full-blown story, and all of a sudden he'd just be like, completely ignore me.
It was a problem.
I would get so frustrated. I'm just like, are you serious? I'm like, I'm sitting here having a full conversation with you. I'm trying to tell you something, and you pull out your phone and you start going on your phone. Like, in my head, because I wasn't used to it, I was just like, he could care less.
Yeah.
But then I had to realize that it's ADHD. So now it's more like, hey, baby, back here. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And, like, I'm just like, hey, like, you want a snack? Ooh, shiny spoon. Come here.
So, this is for people who are watching, I know what it's like to not understand, like, what they're going through. I understand what it's like to not really be on the same page as my partner. But I guess the best way to really reignite that fire in your marriage or in your relationship is to really sit down and communicate, but also to remember to forgive. And you sometimes have to remember why you fell in love with them to begin with, or why you're with them in the first place. And remember that, like there was that fire to begin with. Like, you had that uncompassionate, like, feeling of puppy love. We're not calling it love, but that puppy love in the beginning. And so when your marriage or when your relationships are tried and tested, and you go through these situations where, I'm just like, man, you're just not very sexual with me, or maybe you're just not very, you don't tell me that I'm beautiful all the time. And that's when
you're beautiful, baby.
That's when you need to communicate, openly communicate all the time your thoughts, your feelings, and your emotions with your partner. Yeah. Because they can't read your mind. No. They're not going to always remain. And sometimes we just get too caught up in work. We get too caught up in our kids. We get too caught up, in ourselves, or situations, or trials and tribulations throughout life, that those challenges, and we face those walls and those obstacles that we have to, like, all right, instead of just sitting here trying to, like, beat myself up over this. Let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's self-reflect. Let's see where we stand. And I honestly believe that's where relationships should have like almost annually or quarterly goals for marriages, like sitting down and actually talking about like how you feel, where you stand, where your relationship is, where you want to go.
Can I add on to that?
Yeah.
So one little tradition that me and Thomas have done every single New Year's is after we watch the fireworks and everything and we're excited about the new year, we set goals for each other. And then also we like, just like, how can I be like a better wife to you? And then he's just like, how can I be a better husband to you? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's kind of like that, you know, like we're always constantly learning things about each other. Mm-hmm. Like even to this day, we've been married for a while now and we know each other pretty well. But just like right now on this podcast, I didn't know that's how you felt.
Really?
Yeah. When the beginning stages of the whole situation, when you were in AIT and basic, I had no idea. And now I just learned today that that's how you felt. And so I'm just like, damn, I kind of put you through hell in the beginning. No. I'm happy that I learned that about you. Because like, it was always like a question in the back of my mind. Like, why did he not love me when I came back? But now I know. And now I can see it from a different point of view. Where I was just like, yeah, I can see that. I can see why that led to that situation or whatever.
I mean, I guess because we don't really talk about it as much.
Yeah, because we don't want to.
Kind of like in the past.
You're just like, whatever. It's in the past. You move on.
You forgive. And forget. You know, it just some people will say I will forgive, but I won't forget. Look, let me tell you something. I used to be that type of person. Let me tell you something.
I will never forget.
I will say this. I get it. It's just like scars. Like you get stabbed, that scar will always be there. So you'll never forget it. I get that. I get it. I do get it.
But don't hold it over somebody's head.
For saying that you forgive them, but you won't forget is it's kind of like
you're not forgiving them.
You're not forgiving them. That's
forgiving is
what's it called? When you say
holding a grudge.
When you say you'll do something, but you actually do it. It's like, hey, I won't backstab you.
Oh, hypocrite?
Yeah, it's being a hypocrite.
Hypocritical?
Hypocritical. Yeah, it's like it's literally saying, hey, I forgive you, but I don't forgive you. Wait, what? Like,
yeah.
Wait, huh? Huh? I forgive you, but I won't forget. That's not forgiving, bro. That's not forgiving. Because
you're not forgiving.
You will never forget what they did to you. Yes, I get it.
So you're still going to have that hurt there. So there is no forgiveness in that.
I 100% get it. You can sit here and argue with me all day long. I will forgive, but I won't forget. That is wrong. That is wrong. I mean, at the end of the day, it's wrong. Like you're not forgiving them. You got to completely forgive. It means you forgive and you forget because you're wiping it clean. Like it never happened.
Like it never happened.
And I get it. Some things that people do, they will haunt you or it will affect you in different ways.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm coming from a religious standpoint, and this is how, you know, our opinions, they don't have to be your opinions. No. They don't have to be yours. Like these are just how I feel, and this is how I go about my life. Mm-hmm. If you forgive someone, it's like you're washing it clean like it's never happened. I will forgive you and I will forget because I care. Mm-hmm. And that's genuinely saying that you forgive. Because if it's the same as, it's literally you saying I forgive but I won't forget, mm-hmm. is you're not forgiving that. You're not, it's not forgiven. It's not. But anyways.
Can I give an example to that?
Go ahead.
Like, for example, let's just say your significant other cheats on you. To a lot of people, that's a deal breaker. But you're not in that situation. Instead of just being like, oh, we're broken up, you're just like, you know what? One time thing, I forgive you. But let's just say you're just like, I forgive you, but I'll never forget. You are going to literally... You're hurting yourself by doing that.
Yeah.
Like, not only are you hurting your relationship, hurting the other person, but you're hurting yourself most of all because you're the one that's being tormented by this.
Yeah.
You're the one who is constantly thinking about it, constantly like worried every time the person leaves the house. And it's okay to be like that in the beginning, but if you're just like, you know what, I forgive you, and that person was genuinely sorry about that that mess up,
Mm-hmm.
most people who have that good connection can move on from it, forgive each other, and act like it never happened.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, it did happen. Yes, it did suck. Yes, it was a horrible point in y'all's relationship. But it is okay to move on because we are human. We mess up. But if you don't, like, if you're just like, oh, I forgive them, but I don't forget, you didn't forgive them.
You didn't forgive them.
Because you were holding that in your heart.
Yeah.
It is literally going to eat you alive because you're constantly thinking about it and constantly worried about it. Like, is it going to happen again? Now, if it continuously happens, that's a problem.
That's when you get.
But I'm saying like a one-time thing, one-time mess up. The person was truly sorry for what they did. They're just like, I messed up, and they told you, and you can move on. You can.
Yeah.
And I know that it hurts. It hurts deeply. It really does. But you can move on. You can. I promise. Just forgive. Actually forgive.
That's if you're trying to
save the relationship.
Salvage
the
what's
happened.
relationship. Because a lot of people at that point, that's their breaking point, and they don't want to.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's breaking point. But I think that's more of a, like, in my opinion, I feel like that's more of a traumatic.
It is.
Traumatic
event in a relationship.
No, reaction.
Yeah.
Traumatic reaction.
Yeah.
So, like, let's just say you've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
Or like you had it happen to people that you love a lot, and like it's just been a reoccurring thing. When you see what it does to people and how it breaks people,
mm-hmm.
for you, that becomes a standard where it's just like the moment they do this, they no longer love me and I'm out of there.
So I've seen relationships where there was what do you call it? There was a moment where spouse, cheated on their, significant other,
mm-hmm.
and they wanted to repair it. They wanted to like fix it.
Mm-hmm.
And, husband was all for fixing it, wife was all for fixing it. But then later on down the road, there was still some form of tension. Like
they didn't fully resolve it then.
Yeah, that's where I'm thinking. But
you need to, the one piece of advice that I would like to touch on is that when you want to resolve a situation, do it. Don't barely touch it. Don't barely touch it or barely talk about it. Dive deep. Go full on. And if you guys aren't fully like, oh, I forgive you, and in tears, like, you didn't freaking try. Like, you need to, like, if you want to tackle a situation, like if something horrible happened or somebody did something or anything, any kind of problem, dive deep into it. Resolve it right then, right there.
Yeah.
And then move on.
But, again, like, time is a healer.
Yeah, but you still need to tackle those emotions.
You definitely need to tackle those emotions, but this kind of goes back into always remembering to reignite, that flame, because some people will question, like, was I making the right choice, or maybe I should have just ended it and just been with this other person. And you have to remember too that, like, if you built your life, like you got 3 kids out of this, 4 kids out of this, 2 kids out of this, 1 kid out of this, you got a house out of this, like, you spent years together. Like, it doesn't matter who you're with. Like, if let's just say you built a marriage for 5 years and you got like 2 kids, 3 kids, you got a bunch of kids, and you go out and you cheat on your spouse, and you'll decide to like work it out, you are going to kind of enter that phase of starting things over.
Yeah.
And you might have those questions of, maybe I should have gotten rid of it and started over. But remember, you gotta remember now, especially if you introduce children into this, how are they gonna take it years down the road? And then what if years down the road, let's just say in this perfect realm, you actually did leave your spouse. You now have a divorce. Your kids are going through a divorce with you. Those poor
you
children.
have to start over with somebody
and now
else.
you're starting over with someone else. And what if that other person you start over with does the same thing? Like, what if they were like, you know what?
Or they're worse.
You cheated on me in the beginning of our relationship with your spouse. I'm going to go out and do it now because it's normal to me because I've seen it.
Yeah.
And then, or what if there's other issues, you know, like it's just, this just
Or
a
completely
disaster.
different
This
issues.
is just
Like,
a disaster
my
of
mother-in-law
messes.
hates me. Something.
And I would say, you know, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own choices.
And everyone
But at
has
the end
their
of
own
the day,
issues.
like when you marry somebody, that's a legal binding contract, and you said in those vows, through thick or thin, through sick or through health, through poor, through rich, like through it all. Like
through everything.
You're pretty much just saying, you know, I said those words for no fucks given.
That's what our society has turned into.
Yeah.
Like, those words mean nothing
Those
nowadays.
words mean nothing. Words
And
mean nothing.
It really
in general
does. Because,
to
like,
anyone.
before, when you made those vows, like, back in the day, do you remember how back in the day when somebody's just like, I give you my word, that meant everything?
That meant everything.
It
and
did,
now it means
because,
nothing.
yeah, because when somebody says, I give you my word, they're literally saying, I am telling you that this is what I'm going to do. And it's going to happen, because if somebody says, I give you my word, that is a promise.
Yeah.
And that promise shall not be broken.
Yeah.
Because that's how it was back in the day, because your word meant something. And if you weren't true to your word, you were shamed for it.
Shame.
Extremely. Shame. Ding. Oh, we're such nerds.
Yeah.
But like, when you say your vows, think about what those words mean. So when you say, we're gonna break it down real quick. I'm sorry, I want to get into this. For richer or for poor, guess what? You're gonna go through financial troubles. I don't care how rich you are or how broke you are. You're gonna go through financial problems. You're gonna go through, oh shit, we spent way too much money on vape juice. I don't know. And now we can't fucking eat.
Now the tire's got a hole in it.
The tire, yeah, that did happen to us recently. You ran over a bolt, so there's a hole in our tire.
So, I mean, like...
But shit happens, and life happens, and you go through your ups and downs, and guess what? That's your partner. Work it through. Be there for them. Support them. Especially, like, me as a stay-at-home mom. Like, when we go through financial problems, my only thought in my head is to support you and reassure you that, hey, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be fine. We're going to get through this, because I want you to know that I am here for you no matter what happens. I don't care if we're like the next day we're living in a damn box. I'm going to be here for you. We're going to live in that box together, baby. And I'm going to make it look nice. So, but like, and then next part, through sickness and in health. Shit happens. People get cancer. People lose limbs. People get, and it's not even like actual like sicknesses. It could be depression. It could be PTSD. It could be so many things that people can end up developing later on in life. You need to be there for them.
Alzheimer's.
Yeah, that's a big Alzheimer's disease. Mm-hmm. That's a big one, and that happens like, of course, later down in life. But like, if you were to ever get Alzheimer's disease, I would never stop loving you. I would remind you each and every day who I was and how much I love you, because I would make the best of the situation because of how much I love you and all the time that we spend together. So if you end up getting it, I got you. Don't worry. Thanks. But there's so many people, like I've seen on Reddit, like Reddit stories where people will leave after somebody gets like cancer or somebody loses a limb or something, and I'm just like, dude,
it's crazy, because I'm kind of glad you said that you got me, because my grandfather is now having,
oh really,
like he's starting
signs
to have,
and symptoms.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Papa,
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Papa.
Yeah.
Dad's dad.
Yeah.
He's showing signs of
memory
loss.
It's a cruel. It's honestly. I honestly feel like it's the cruelest disease, because you lose the person that you've known your entire life, especially when it happens to like your parent. It sucks.
But I think that I'm always curious of like what it's like for them.
Oh
Do you
yeah,
think they're
I've
more at
always
peace
wondered.
because they don't remember.
No, so I've actually seen it happen because I've had people close to me deal with it, especially
They get frustrated
my
a lot,
godmother's.
you think?
It's not only frustration, it's like, imagine you all of a sudden, like from here, we're talking right now.
Yeah.
Now imagine all of a sudden you're in a hospital and you have this person talking to you, talking about, hey, you need to take your pills. Have you taken your pills today yet? Going from this straight to that, being old and not knowing where the fuck you are, who this person is, it's like, it's scary. So
Yeah,
imagine constantly being confused
It's like
and
constantly
scared.
teleporting.
Yeah, so it's not that.
Yeah.
It's more like it's confusion and being scared. Like, I don't know what's going on. And it's that you could see the panic in their eyes almost because they don't know what's going on. So they're trying to they're looking around trying to figure out what is happening right now and who everybody is, because that could be your daughter. But guess what?
You
The
don't
only
remember
memory you have of your daughter right now is when she was young. So you have no idea who that is. So it's a sad disease. And I don't wish it on my worst enemy.
Dang.
I really don't.
Yeah.
It is horrible. And it's the worst way to go, in my opinion. But that's,
All right, so the next part.
yeah.
Through sickness or through health,
Through sickness and through health.
through rich or through poor.
Through rich or through poor.
What's the other one?
You said it earlier. Help me out here. Chat GPT. What's the wedding vows? Can you type it in real quick?
That's the keywords behind me.
Do it. Come on. We're going to break down the wedding vows. Let's do it. Let's break it down now. Break it down now. We're breaking down the wedding vows. Hear us now. Hear me roar. Sorry. Sinuses are not working with me today. I think it's because it's pollen season. The bees are a buzzing. All right, wedding vows.
Wow, that's long.
Oh, shit. Oh, wait. Okay, so first part. I take you, to be my lawfully wedded wife/husband, to have and to hold from this day forward for better or for worse.
Okay,
So that's the first.
The better or for worse would be through
Shit happens.
shit happens, but like you could get rich, or I could go poor.
Well, let's not say
you
rich
go-
or poor,
Oh, yeah,
because
you're
that's
right.
later on. But for better or for
Oh.
worse, let's just say that for situations that happen,
Oh,
we're
so we-
humans. We mess
So
up.
like I'm in the army, everything's better, but then when we get out, things could get worse.
That's still relating to finances. So don't think about finances. Think about decisions.
Decisions.
Like, let's just say you become more like,
I can't think of any way for better or for
All right.
worse.
for better or for worse, like
What choices in life?
choices in life, and also appearances. Appearances play a big,
Oh,
because
yeah?
we grow old.
Oh, and we get fat.
And we get fat.
You know, yeah.
And some people get that happy love
Well,
weight.
that kind of falls into sickness and health because health is really religious.
Not really.
Technically-
But appearances,
Yeah.
let's just say you could be healthy, but you could still gain weight. Or when a woman has a baby, that fucks her tummy up. It gives her stretch marks. It messed with my legs.
Yeah.
Like, I got veins poking out in all these different places, but you still love
Legs
me.
are sexy.
But like,
Yeah.
you go through things happen, or let's just say you get a really nasty scar, like right across your face,
But that's
which
through
would be really
health.
sexy as hell. I don't
Sickness
know
and
why.
then health. That's gotta be health.
Sorry, I was imagining it.
All
Looking
right.
like
So the
my
next one will be
Viking.
to love and to cherish till death do us part.
So rich or poor, through sickness and health, to love and to cherish, to love and to cherish. When you cherish somebody, let's just say cherish, because we already touched on love.
Yeah.
Cherish. I hold this person like, it's like you almost hold them above you to where you're just like, I cherish them because I care about their well-being. I care about their happiness. I care about how they feel because this is a person that I cherish. I want to make sure that they are okay at all times when I'm with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're still reading, aren't you?
Kind of.
Till death do us. Oh, hold on. Till death do us part. You know what that means?
Till
bitch,
death.
we here till death. I ain't going nowhere. Death do us part, meaning the only way that we are breaking this contract
is through death.
Is one of us gotta die.
But I mean, like, and that's a sad
and you
part.
Can't kill me.
It's crazy to know that we still do these in today's weddings.
It's kind of
but people
hypocritical and sad. It's just like, why do we even say this now?
This is just
no
like
one means it.
This is just like saying I forgive you, but I won't forget. This is the exact same thing.
It is.
And in today's society, we've made this normal. Mm-hmm. Like this fucked up shit that we're saying now, like, oh, I can get a divorce. Divorce is good. Divorce is great. Like, motherfucker, you're the same person that's saying, oh, I'll forgive, but I won't forget. You're the same person that are making these new norms. Like
divorce, though,
it can be good.
We're not talking about situational, because that's the same thing with like when people bring up abortion and stuff. We're not talking about situational of the worst, like your husband's beating you or something like that. We're not talking about the worst. We're talking about the average. The average,
like, oh, he hurt me. I just give up.
Yeah.
Those people that say, I give up. I just give up.
That's what we're touching on. Like, so just don't think of the extreme negatives, please.
You went out and you told your husband or your spouse, your wife, whoever, you told your girl, whatever, hey, stop doing this.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, for one, that's kind of very blunt.
Yeah.
But two, like, did y'all actually talk about it? Now,
did you explain why it irritates you?
So now, let's just say in a typical relationship or marriage, you tell someone, hey, you need to stop talking to this girl. And you're like, well, this girl is like she's like my friend, like there's nothing more to it. And they're just like, fuck it, I give up. We're done.
So that's another thing that that's like the whole jealousy thing is like, if you tell your significant other to stop, like, let's just say, you know what? Let's take it up a notch.
Okay.
Let's just say I didn't like your mom. I love his mom. I love his mom so much. But let's just say I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't like your mom. She is mean. She's hateful. She hates me. And every time I'm around her, she just makes me feel awful. And let's just say that I asked something I feel like this is the most horrible thing to ask your significant other to do. But I'm just like, you know what? Cut your mother out. Cut your mother off.
Hell no.
Either it's me or your mom. Like, what kind of fucking shit is that?
That's some fucked up shit.
It's messed up. Don't ask somebody to cut someone out of their life, especially if they know them way before you.
They
especially when it's a family member.
I would say that's when it goes back to some of our old videos where we were talking about compromising.
Yeah.
And talking things out. But I mean, like
guess what? You can still visit your mom and you can still have a relationship with your mom. I just don't want to see her.
When there's issues, when there's issues in a relationship.
Or you could talk it out with your mom. I don't know. Go ahead.
When there's issues in a relationship.
I got lucky with my mom.
If you come to the conclusion of not trying to work it out and you're saying, fuck the vows, like fuck these for better or for worse, fuck the rich or poor, fuck the sickness and health, and fuck the love of the cherish till death do us part. Why the fuck did you say it in the first place? For one, and two, those relationships are just like, I give up. I'm done. I'm going to get a divorce. You just can't seem to get your shit together. Motherfucker, help. Talk that shit out. Talk that shit out.
Help me.
Talk it out. I don't care how stubborn they are or how hard-headed they are. If you haven't been working on it for years, trying, then why did you even get it in the first place? Why'd you get into it in the first place?
You know how long it took me to get this motherfucker to say sorry? Once.
I do say sorry a lot, though.
Oh, now you do.
Yeah.
But before, it was like pulling fucking teeth to get you to say, like, apologize for something because you had your pride.
You know what's another one? I see this a lot.
What?
I see a lot on these anonymous spouse pages where someone will be like, I've been with this person for 10 years and I give up.
Yo.
And it's just like, for one, you're going to throw 10 years down the drain, but also, too, like, I get that you're saying that you just give up. I will admit I don't get the full context of why, but that shit pisses me off. It pisses me off because it's just like, why the fuck are you gonna sit here for one and blast your shit online?
Oh yeah. Two. Don't fucking talk about your don't disrespect your partner online. Don't talk about your shit online. Don't do that.
If you're disrespecting your partner, blasting their personal shit on a Facebook post for the world to see,
you're a shitty person.
I can see why. I can see why the hell your relationship is shit.
You're the problem.
Because one, you might be the fucking problem.
For real, especially if you're the type of person that goes straight to on. That always pissed me off. Like I would actually delete friends that I've known for years
who post their relationship shit online.
Yeah, if they post their fucking relationship online, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Like,
don't bring us into this shit. Like, keep that between you and your partner.
My spouse is being a tool bag. I can't fucking believe him. This, that. Bro, delete.
Yeah,
don't blast your shit out there. Like, that's fucked up.
Because first of all, it's disrespectful to your partner
as hell,
and also it makes you look worse. It makes you look
hella bad.
Like I know that there is some, like I understand, like on, let's just say, for example, because like on mom group pages or like private pages, I get it, because most of those women are asking for advice. They're like, hey, I'm in this situation, I need advice, but it's on a private page. And they normally do it anonymously, so you have no idea who that person is. And they're just like, hey, this is a situation I'm in. I need advice. Yeah. That is where I get it, because you're literally asking for advice. But when you're, well, I'm just saying. And
go to your friend. Call your mom. Like, don't deal.
Some people, but you also have to think, some people don't have that.
But some of those groups
some people don't have a mom to talk to. Some people don't have a best friend to go to. You got to think that there's some people out there that don't have anybody and they feel alone. But like I'm saying,
if you don't got
let's
a friend
just say
to
they
talk
died.
To, if you don't have a friend to talk to, come on.
But
come on, what is your life revolved around?
Let's just say they died in a horrible car accident. I don't fucking know.
No, I feel
but like, all I'm saying is that is the only time where I understand, but they did it anonymously, so you have no idea who they are. You can't go into their personal stuff or anything and do a little dead one.
I just have something for it. I just can't.
I know.
I can't. Like, I just.
I don't agree with it, but like I understand asking for advice, but there's a difference between asking for advice and blasting your fucking personal information online for everyone to fucking see.
Someone actually just recently, and it's kind of made me think of it. Someone actually recently posted on a Facebook group anonymously about their spouse, and they said that they felt like it was going to escalate to abuse, but it wasn't. And everybody was in there like, oh, leave him. He's trash. It's just like, you felt that it was going to lead to abuse. It wasn't abusive. But it wasn't abuse.
But like you felt like it was going to happen. That is. I was just like, yo,
stop posting this and go reach out. Like, reach out to someone, like marriage counseling. Marriage counseling. If they said, marriage counseling didn't help, maybe try a different marriage counseling. Or maybe
not one counselor is going to be the best. We never went to counseling, but I know a few couples that have. Like, sometimes you have to switch counselors. Sometimes you got to get a new one. Sometimes counselor sucks.
Sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what's the problem?
Sometimes you got to fucking look in the mirror and be like, yo,
it might be you.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I will admit, I have looked in the mirror and I have told myself multiple times, I'm the problem and I need a change.
And guess what? I have too.
And I've had
But that's what makes us work, though. Yeah. We both took a big old look at ourselves in the mirror. Man in the mirror. Yeah, we did that. And we were just like, this is what I'm doing wrong. And I need to fix myself. Not just like, if you the entire time are blaming the other person for all the fucking problems, guess what? It takes two to fucking tango.
Yeah, for real.
Don't just keep on pointing your finger being like, they're doing this and they're doing that. Look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and think about, how am I wrong? How does this person feel like of what I am doing? Like the women, I'm sorry, it's mostly women, so I'm just going to say women. The women who go on fucking social media and blast their shit, that's like a key sign to be like, you're the fucking problem, bitch. I'm sorry, you are. Because like, why are you letting the whole world know your shit? Why are you telling everyone your fucking business? That's not okay. You are the problem. Sorry.
They want
Not
attention.
sorry, but sorry.
Like, low key, some women want attention.
Yeah, they do. And
right,
that's
so
when you need to look
I
at
don't
yourself in
wanna
the mirror and be like, I'm an attention whore.
I don't want to wrap
I
this
should
up,
probably fix this.
but it's been an hour and 30, and I've really got to pee.
Okay. So, all right, we'll wrap it up.
All right.
So,
This was a good
and
conversation.
yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
I had fun. Ending thoughts on how to stay committed when love fades.
I really want to do these live sometime soon. I
Yeah,
want to start
I
getting to
agree.
do them live. But I really also want to get some people on here. And I really do
Well,
want
we
to start seeing.
will. Other than that,
Yeah.
ending
Sorry.
ADHD, man. I asked you a question.
How to stay committed when love fades.
What would be your final thoughts on that?
My final thoughts would be talk about your issues, talk about your problems calmly.
Calmly.
Don't
yeah.
forgive.
Don't fucking yell
Don't
at each
forget
other.
to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
Talk, communicate calmly, and forgive. And set goals.
Yeah.
Set goals.
Also, what I would like to say is when your love fades, you will always constantly learn new things about your significant other
And yourself.
and yourself. Like, you'll learn things about yourself that you never knew. And it's a process. It really is. And it takes years to go through it. But every single day I learn something new about him, or he had a little quirk that he does. And get to re-know the person that you love. Fall back in love with them.
Go on dates.
Yeah, go on dates. Get to know each other. Talk about things that you never talked about before. Ask each other questions that make no fucking sense. Like, it could be the weirdest thing. Like, if you could go on a boat ride with a superstar and a famous musician and somebody who's dead, who would you go with and why and where would you go? Like, certain little it was such an off the wall question, but guess what, those answers that they give will let you know a little bit more of how their mind works.
Yeah.
Or like, if somebody's just like, oh, I had such a weird dream last night, tell me about your dream.
Yeah.
I want to know what you're dreaming about, because that's kind of funny.
And
some people have weird dreams.
And when you do have these conversations and you do go on these dates and you do these little things, keep the phone away.
Yeah, don't
Keep
don't
the
bring
phone
the
away,
phone.
you know?
Keep the phone down.
Be polite and put the phone away.
Yeah,
Put
and
the phone
listen
away.
to it. Listen to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Actually listen. Don't hear them, but listen.
Yeah.
And
Stare at each other in the eyes.
stare at each other in the eyes intently. But you know, that's actually an exercise where you just sit across from the person
And just look
and
at
just
each other.
stare at each other.
Yeah.
No talking, nothing. And honestly,
it's refreshing.
it is refreshing, because you kind of just stare at them like, and you just, it's that whole new love again,
Yeah.
where you're just like admiring little things about them. And just, even though the love fades, guess what? The love is still there. You love that person for a reason. Work on it. I know that sometimes it's hard, and sometimes you're going to go through trials and tribulations. It happens to everybody.
Just don't
But
forget where you came from.
Don't forget where you came from, and power through and try.
And forgive.
And forgive. We're never going to, it's like,
It's number one.
it's number one. Forgive.
All right,
And
you guys are
forget.
awesome.
Love you.
If you have any issues, problems, questions, concerns, put them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe. You guys are awesome. And we'll be posting videos on TikTok.
Ayo, TikTok.
Ayo. All right, y'all take it easy.
Bye.
Such a good stream.
It was. Are we ended?
No, not yet.
Okay.